Hello and welcome to the Broad Street Hockey Podcast, first episode of the regular season. I'm your host, Ryan Gilbert. Joining me, as always, is my co-host, Joe DeMarini. How we doing, Joe?
Pretty good for a 1-1-1 start. I'm feeling pretty good about this. How about you?
Yeah, 3 games in, 1-1-1. You had a schedule loss in there on the back-to-back, even though the Flames aren't that great.
They're 4-0 right now.
Dustin Wolf is going to be maybe the main competitor for the Calder. They're doing great.
Is he Calder eligible?
He is.
Ooh,
Yeah, he has not definitely has not played 25 games. But they'll flame out there up in Calgary. Then obviously Tuesday night in Edmonton, we'll get into that and whatnot. Michkov, his first 2 goals of his career on the power play. The Flyers have a power play now. But here, top of the show, make sure you guys are subscribed to the Broad Street Hockey Podcast feed on Apple, on Spotify, on YouTube as well. We got us up there. We got Hyperbole. We got Hosers going there live. Hosers is a good listen. Take a listen to that. So just good old Canadian banter there. And then of course we got the Fly Guys, the Flyers 5 up there. I think is the BSH brief on YouTube. I saw Quigley had a video there. I'm not sure if that was on YouTube or just on the website there, broadstreethockey.com. Like and subscribe. Plenty of good stuff up there. So make sure you check all that stuff out. And of course, make sure you check out Bet Online, the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything sports betting. Every stat, matchup breakdown, and even live odds and spreads to bet on during games, with the largest catalog of odds for everything from football, MLB playoffs, NHL, NBA to political props. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker, or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. Head to the website today to get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. Bet Online, the game starts here. And Joe, what do you want to start with here for this first show of the regular season?
I think we need to reflect just briefly. The Columbus Blue Jackets had their first home game last night, and they did truly like a beautiful tribute for Johnny Gaudreau. Family was there. There could not have been a dry eye in that arena. Even more fitting, the Florida Panthers were the team that was visiting, and Matthew Tkachuk was sick, so he couldn't make it to the game. But Sam Bennett and Adam Boquist had both played with Johnny. Bennett in Calgary and Boquist in, I believe, Columbus. And yeah, it just reiterated what an absolutely devastating tragedy that accident was. But the Blue Jackets organization did a just beautiful, really well done video and raising of his number to the rafters.
Yeah, beautiful ceremony. I have no idea how they managed to play a hockey game after that, but they did. So
and then Moynihan, he scores a goal and immediately just points up to the 13 in the right. Damn, dude.
Yeah, that was special there. The opening face-off, no left wing for 13 seconds. That was just chills watching that. I mean, it's beautiful ceremony by them.
It's brutal.
It still almost doesn't feel real, even like going through that. I'm sure the Flyers are going to do something for their home opener on Saturday. I'll probably be there. It's going to be probably heartbreaking as well. But just another reminder that just a tragic thing that happened in the hockey community, just gone way too soon. So thoughts to the Gaudreau family there,
as always.
Yeah.
Anyway, on that somber note, let's talk real hockey, because Gaudreau's wife made a video and said, let's love this game as much as he loved it. So we're gonna do that. So we the Flyers played the Oilers yesterday, and up until the Oilers won that game, they were 0-3-0 to start. You know what other team is 0-3-0 to start the season, Gilbs?
Is it another team that the Flyers have the first round pick of by chance?
Why, yes, it is. The Colorado Avalanche. Whoa. Let me try that one again. We haven't podcasted in like a week and a half. I guess my mouth doesn't work. The Colorado Avalanche are 0-3-0 to start the season. And it's not even like the Oilers just kind of lost sloppy. The Avs have been getting their doors blown off. Like, it is the Alexander Forgiev accusations are turning into like Alexander Fortygiev accusations. It's so bad. the 2 picks that the Flyers own, the Colorado pick is top 10 protected, and the Oilers pick is top 12. I think both teams will perform better than that, but I don't know, man. Maybe not significantly, especially the Avs. I'm really worried about that team.
Yeah, the Oilers, they'll turn it around. Stuart Skinner is fine in that. Just have to get. Their defense sucks now after getting rid of CC, and Broberg's playing well in St. Louis, and Darnell Nurse is awful.
Not
He's
good.
a
Not
horrible
good.
hockey player. They'll be fine though. They have the offense. Once Skinner, Arvidsson get going, once they figure out their top 6, top 9 even with Adam Henrique there as a third line center, like they'll figure it out. Yeah,
we saw them last season start absolute shit, fire their coach, and then go to the Cup final, Game 7 of the Cup final.
They'll be
I'm
fine.
not counting them out. I think they'll make the playoffs.
We also have to remember it's 3 or 4 games for these teams. This is going to be huge overreactions just around the country. Like everyone last night was like, "Oh, the Oilers are 0-3. What's going to happen?" The Leafs. Austin Matthews hasn't scored yet. What's going to happen? They haven't scored a power play goal, but it's 3 games, so you can't overreact. But you have to remember that. But the Avalanche allowed 8 goals to Vegas, 6 to Columbus, and 6 to the Islanders. 20 goals in 3 games. Georgiev, I think they just picked up Capo Kakinen off the waiver wire, so we'll see what happens there. But also, they do have a bunch of injuries. Lekkonen's going to come back. Nichushkin's going to come back at some point. Landeskog looks like he's going to be on his way back. Drouin as well is out. Devin Taves is out tonight, so they're still a good enough team to make the playoffs, or at the very least be in the top half of the league, which is making the playoffs. So I'm not worried about those picks sliding to 2026, but if they do, they're unprotected, and maybe the Avalanche just completely fall off next year. But hopefully, one of those picks is in the teens, and then one in the low 20s would be successes, I think, because I'm expecting both of them to be 26, 27 or later.
Well, I don't know. I'm really out on the Avs right now. They are, let's see. Gabe Landeskog is out. He's missed 2 full years of hockey. We saw what missing a year and a half of hockey did for Sean Couturier. Arturi Lekkonen, still out. Who knows what he's going to look like when he comes back. And then Val Nichushkin in the Players Association has let the Avs down 2 playoffs in a row where he's just not been a factor at all. They're missing half their top 6. And then beyond Makar and Taves, Sam Girard is okay. He never really quite latched on in the way that
he's a good second pair guy. He's someone you need behind Makar.
Sure. And then their goaltending is just abysmal. I don't think they'll be a lottery team, but I wouldn't be surprised if Utah has looked real good to start the season. They look real good. And, Nashville, they've kind of flopped out the gate too, but they have so much talent. Andrew Burnett's a really good coach, I think.
Yeah, he is.
That they could make a push.
You got Dallas and Winnipeg, both undefeated. Dallas has a playoff spot pretty much locked up. Jets, not as much, but they've Connor Hellebuck is insane. So,
and then the only thing that might save the Avs is how weak the Pacific is. That 2 wild card spots would go to the Central instead of 1 and 1. But if Landeskog and Lekkonen are out for much longer than had been originally thought, and then look bad when they're back, that's a lot of money tied up in players who are not going to be able to pull their weight. So I don't know, man. I won't bet against McKinnon and Makar. That would be crazy, but they are going to have a pretty steep hill to climb. I think a lot of people forget when they won the Cup in 2022, Darcy Kemper, he's not the greatest goalie, but that team, the skaters were so fucking loaded that it didn't matter. They just controlled play at such a high rate that it didn't matter that Kemper couldn't get the job or wasn't that great a goalie. Most of that team's gone. They don't have that luxury anymore.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with the Avalanche. They're not off to a great start. Their odds to make the playoffs have dropped quite a bit. So but yeah, like you said, that Pacific, the West I could see the Central easily getting 5 teams with Pacific. The Flames are 4-0, but Edmonton's going to bounce back. One of the Knights or Kings will make it, and then Vancouver should bounce back as well. And we got to talk about them. What's going on there? They're 1-2 so far, 2 overtime losses, allowed 13 goals in 3 games. I mean, they looked good against the Flyers. I mean, I know it was Vancouver playing their second game, I think, against the Flyers' first game. So obviously Vancouver had more jump out of the gate. Sam Ersson was great in that game on the PK. Phenomenal. In the first period. It's huge to keep him in it. And the Flyers finally came alive in the third period. And the Canucks, I don't know if they also just have to like get their guys meshing together, figure out what they got, because they have the talent. Patterson, JT Miller, Brock Besser.
Jake DeBrusk was such a savvy ad.
Yeah, Jake DeBrusk was a great ad for them. But yeah, Thatcher Demko is playing it safe and making sure he's healthy for the playoffs. But I think Kevin Lankinen was fine for them against the Flyers. I mean,
I like Lankinen.
Yeah, if you were a casual fan, you'd be like, okay, yeah, that's a decent goalie there. It's not some guy they picked up off the scrap heap in September.
He was Saros' backup in Nashville for like 2 seasons. He's a really, I think he's a good backup goalie.
He was decent in Chicago too, when Chicago was bad.
Yeah. So I think the Canucks will get it straightened out. I mean, I kind of hope so, because I have 2 of their top players on my fantasy team. So I'm really
I completely forgot, Joe. How's it feel? How'd the beatdown feel week
1? God, you absolutely clobbered me last week. It was such an embarrassment. Hey, we played each other first week last season too, so I guess this was just the revenge tour.
The revenge game there.
You would have clobbered anyone. You had the highest points.
The thing is, I'm pretty sure you had the second highest points.
I did.
That's what's so shitty about it sometimes. Yeah, it's how the cookie crumbles there.
That's how. Speaking of the cookie crumbling, the cookie is a crumbling.
Very nice there. Yeah. So Vancouver, we'll see what goes on with them. Nashville as well. I mean, winless as well. Nashville, Colorado, San Jose still winless. Not surprising. Vancouver, who in the East? Everyone in the East has a win. So
East is beast.
East is beast. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. Anything else from around the league? Yeah. What do you think's gonna? First coach fired. Any panic trades? I could see that. I could see the Avs making a trade for a goalie. I don't know if this could be finally the year that John Gibson gets traded. I know he is out due to having appendix surgery, but I don't know. I don't know what the Avs, or if there's going to be any sort of first coach fired. No, Detroit's a team we've shat on all season long, and they're off to a bad start. So their team, Derek Lalonde, could be on the hot seat.
Yeah. I mean, the spiciest thing that could happen is the Bruins overreact to Swayman's lousy start and then ship him to Colorado. No. Can you imagine? That'd be wild. No. Yeah. What goal, aside from John Gibson, what goalie is there that could be available for the Avs?
I have no idea, really.
Like Philip Grubauer, they already tried that. Didn't work.
I'm trying to look if there's any pending free agents that are going.
Oh, that's too long. They need. Oh, you mean?
Well, no, I'm saying like to trade for a rental.
Right.
Marc-Andre Fleury in his final year. Alex Lyon, Jake Allen maybe from New Jersey, because they have Markstrom now. He's looking good. I mean, they'll give Capo Kakkonen a try in net. They just need somebody to not do something. Just not shit the bed there between them.
Who's going to make the first panic trade?
There's a team that likes doing early trades. I'm forgetting who it is though. I don't know. It might be Buffalo.
I think it could be. I mean, Buffalo's my pick. Kevin Adams has had years to try and get this back on the right path. Oh man, my words today are just really not working.
I think Buffalo's trade at last deadline was a bad one too, because they don't need Bowen Byram. They have Dahlin, they have Owen Power. Like, they need to trade a defenseman for a center, but they just traded a center for a defenseman. So
they have they have Tage Thompson and Dylan Cousins down the middle.
Yeah, okay, maybe a winger then. Oh well, they have Peterka's been out too since the second game, I think.
Of course. So, there's always an injured winger in Buffalo. Last year it was Jack Quinn. This year it's Peterka. Yeah. But I think it's them or maybe Detroit. one of these teams that is like supposed to be turning the corner hasn't, and their GM has been there a long time and it hasn't gotten it done. Can't see Detroit. I mean, Yzerman's too cautious to pull something like that, but Kevin Adams might up in Buffalo. I don't know. Edmonton just hired Stan Bowman. They won't make anything crazy.
No,
They don't have the space.
Yeah, because they're teams that already made their moves in the offseason. Like they're not going to make another move. They're going to wait it out. So
no.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. Buffalo is probably a good thought. Maybe
First
Detroit.
coach fired.
I mean, I think Detroit's up there.
Yeah. Pittsburgh's
2-2. I don't know. I think Crosby is going to protect his guy. I think Sullivan's there unless they completely shit the bed too.
I mean, two playoff misses in a row, and then they are not that good on paper. I just saw on Twitter that they waived Rutger McGroarty back down to the AHL.
Yeah.
How's that feel? How's that feel, Rutger? How's that feel, McGroarty? That's what Cutter Gautier's approach to life will get you.
Yeah.
So, no, I think the Sabres are the first to make a panic trade, and the Wings would be the first to make a coaching change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and neither of those teams in that are the Flyers. 1-1 start. John Tortorella is trusting his young guys. Matvei Michkov, 2 goals. Jett Luchanko out there against Connor McDavid on Tuesday night held his own. Jett Luchanko, when he gets skating, he's just comically fast.
Yeah, he's our Connor McDavid.
Yeah, it's like a 2-on-2, and then he's just coming up and make it a 3-on-2. It's insane how fast he is.
Yeah, he's our Connor McDavid. He's going to be Connor McDavid for the Flyers. You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah. Well, what are our current thoughts on Jett Luchanko staying up past 9 games? I think there's no way it can happen. I understand the counterpoint to that is the team may think his best for his development is at the NHL level on John Tortorella. I know I've seen a few people say that, but it's just, this is not a year you're trying to compete. And I don't think his development can be advanced that much by being in the NHL rather than playing the 9 games, maybe being up for 12 or 13 games, getting a few healthy scratches here and there to watch the game from above, and then going back to juniors, knowing what you got to work on, going to the World Junior Championship, knowing what you got to work on against the other best on best there. So I don't know. I think the financial aspect of it, you need his less than $1 million cap hit in 2028 rather than this season.
Yep. You need that contract to slide. I would say I don't think they should keep him past the 9, but I've kind of come around on having him on the team for the full 9 because, he didn't get that goal that Bobby Brink scored, but his positioning allowed it to happen.
Yeah, he made it.
He, I would say, slowed down McDavid. You can't contain him, obviously, but you can limit him. And it just kind of reminds me of like 2 seasons ago when Torts put Noah Cates up to that task. He was like, you're going to be matched up with McDavid. And Cates pretty much did it like really well for most of the game. And he's also kind of become the engine of the power play 2 unit, just because of his speed and his zone entry ability. I'd kind of like to see him on unit 1 just to get a shot. But I know that Rocky Thompson apparently told Torts, like, don't fuck with the units. Let them cook for a little bit before you start messing around with them. I'm still on the send him back train, but I think if he's earned the full 9,
we got to get someone pro keep Luchanko up on the podcast here to debate us, because like it's not really really fun content here when we're agreeing. Like
Kelly Hinkle, Steve Jaco, I think they both would keep him up.
Yeah, I'm trying. Like I get it but he's not showing like amazing things, and like we compare it to Sean Couturier back when he stayed up as a 19-year-old. That team was competing, and having Jett Luchanko grow with this team, there's definitely value to it. But I just keep going back to the cap hit situation. Like it's not worth it. It's not worth it this year.
It's a numbers game. It's You've got Noah Cates not playing. Why?
Exactly.
Also, I've seen people be like, well, Tyson Forrester couldn't score for the first 15 games. Why wouldn't you why wouldn't it be the same with Jett Luchanko? And I'm like, Tyson Forrester's shot was a known quantity. Like everyone in the organization knew that the kid could score. He just wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Luchanko doesn't have that. He doesn't have that like grade A high-end shot that Forrester did. So the idea that like his offense will come around in the same way it did for Tyson Forrester doesn't really, it's not really like a good comparable right there.
No, I mean, I think it. I mean, it definitely will come around at some point. But
Sure.
yeah, he has the speed. He has the motor. He has the two-way game. He's great defensively. He's great, one-on-one against the boards. But like, yeah, that's something you mentioned. It. Noah Cates has been a healthy scratch now for 2 games, and he really shouldn't be. He should be in the lineup. Like, and Scott Lawton hasn't looked great. Ryan Poehling hasn't looked good at all. Ryan Poehling has just turned back into a pumpkin. So yeah,
has Nick Delorier had a game yet? I don't think he has.
Nick Delorier has not had a game. I was told he was going to play a lot early on, though. I was told that, but I have yet to see that. The Flyers had two fights last night, and Typho had a fight their game before too. Which
that instigator was bullshit on Tyson Forrester.
Yes, and then Tuesday night, Couturier should have waited like a second to like try to draw the instigator against Troy Stetcher, but Troy Stetcher's not wearing orange and black, so he's not going to get an instigator there.
Nope. What? As much as I like seeing Beezer and Coots kind of like stand up for the team and whatnot, guys, you're supposed to be scoring goals, not sitting in the penalty box. What the fuck are you doing?
What I figured happened there.
Farabee.
Well, Coots got jumped by a smaller guy, and then Perry was probably chirping the bench all night long, and he was like, "All right, Coots just fought a smaller guy. Give me one of your smaller guys to fight." And that's what happened. 10 minutes left. Took him out for half of the final 10 minutes of the game. I didn't really like it for Farabee because he's been beat up a bit, and like there was a shift, I think, a little bit before that, maybe even in the second period, where he was out there way too long, and you could see him laboring. So hopefully he's going to be fine. But yeah, even like Hathaway is out there. Like Hathaway can fight. Like puts Hathaway Perry. It's a fair trade off.
And if Poehling's going to play like shit, like maybe you drop the gloves, Ryan Poehling. I know that's not your game, but like,
getting back to the Luchanko and like center thing, like I can really see Torts pushing to keep him up because he's gonna be like, all right, who are you putting as a third line center? Lawton hasn't been good enough. Cates maybe, but he doesn't have the offense. Poehling you're not putting there. Like they don't have that third line center. And Sean Couturier is a third line center right now. Like Luchanko's playing in the top 6. Morgan Frost has been great with Michkov, so credit to him on the first line, second line, whatever you want to call that. But if Luchanko goes down, like what were the lines on Saturday night? Was it just Cates on the third line? I'm gonna look back to what that was. That was the game I watched least analytically. So
was that the Calgary game?
That was the Calgary game. Yeah,
me too. I was in a bar. I was not really paying.
Yeah.
Every time I went to the bathroom, the Flyers scored, and then when I turned around to look at the TV, the Calgary Flames scored.
Okay, so Poehling was between Forster and Tippett. It looks like for a bit. Couturier was between as well. Cates, Lawton, Hathaway as a fourth line. That's a great fourth line. It's a fantastic fourth line, but you need a better third line. And I can see that argument being made for Jett Luchanko to stay up. And I understand the argument. Like, I'm not going to say he's not, like we talked about it, I think last podcast, like where does Luchanko rank on this team in terms of forwards? I think he's one of the best 9.
Yeah.
Definitely best 10, definitely. I think like he's better than all the fourth liners.
Well, they're not going to play him on the fourth line.
No,
then he's not getting the minutes he needs to develop anyway, and it's not the audition.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest. This might be a hot take. I like Couturier between Farabee and Brink. I know it's like the quote unquote third line. I kind of like that setup.
I like it too, but then who do you put between Forster and Konechny? Do you put Lawton there? Do you try to move Forster or Konechny to center? And
Luchanko?
But what when you send Luchanko down, or if you do send Luchanko down?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
You mean after the 9 games?
You
meant until the 9 games were done. Okay.
AJ after Jett. Yeah.
After Jett. He's got a Jett. No, I think you're right. Coots between Konechny and move Farabee up. Like,
who you dropping down? Forster?
yeah, or Tippett. Tippett's had a bit of a rough start.
Tippett just hasn't scored, Joe.
He's come so close.
He's come that move against, was it Kulak? He just undressed and then rang one off the post last night against Edmonton. But this is why, like, you look at the Flyers, like, okay, you got 9 good wingers, you got a few other good fourth liners. Like, you just want to be able to trade 2 of them for a center, and then it solves your problems. Like, if you could get a Zegras, a Rossi, someone like that to just plug the second line center role. Like, I don't trust Morgan Frost as the first line center yet, but I also don't think the Flyers as a team have a first line.
No.
I think, the Flyers have 2 second lines and then 2 third lines. I think it's really what they have when you look at it. Any given night, maybe one of those lines can step up a little bit, but
I think you're being a little cruel to one of those third lines. I think that's another second line, honestly.
So 3 second lines and a
fourth
third line. Yeah.
Like 3.5, 3.5.
Like Lawton, Paling, and Hathaway could be a fourth line on a playoff team, I think. I don't know if they could be a third line, I guess. Yeah.
If you add Delorier, it's a fourth line.
That's another thing why Luchanko can't. Well, we just talked about it. Like, Cates has to play. Lawton has to play. Paling, unfortunately, has to play. I want to see less of him. I don't know. It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird.
I'm trying to cut them some slack. It's only been 3 games.
Yes.
And we talked about it before we went live. This team has not played like any minutes at 5-on-5. It has just been special teams after special teams after special teams. Like, last night there was 7? The Flyers had 7 power plays, I think. And then Edmonton had a couple as well. Like, it's impossible to judge their 5-on-5 play when they're not playing on 5-on-5 for any extended period of time. But speaking of special teams, are the Flyers a special teams merchant team now? Like, that's the only way they're going to score? They're 4 for 15 on the power play.
It's that meme of you can only choose 2: 5-on-5, special teams, and goaltending. You can only choose 2. The Flyers can only be good at 2 at once. And, first game it was goaltending and special teams. Second game it was nothing. And then I guess against Edmonton it was
goaltending was good too.
Yeah, but I was looking back at it. Like, Sam Ersson's been fantastic through 2 games. And his save percentage is under 900. Like, that's why. I mean, it's a very small sample size, but that's why like save percentage can be so misleading at times. But Sam Ersson, yeah, go ahead.
I might have to buy an Ersson jersey. I don't know if y'all follow like the Flyers social clips and stuff. He is the most charming member of this team. When they were doing like, is this an Iron Maiden lyric or a Sabrina Carpenter lyric? He's like, oh, that's that me espresso. That's Sabrina Carpenter. Like, he was into it too. He started singing all these Sabrina Carpenter songs. They started doing like TikTok meme references, and he's like, Riz, and then he does like the thing, and I'm just like, man, this guy rules. And then he's playing out of his mind. He's had a strong preseason, and he's had 2 strong games. I know they lost last night, but like, he had no chance on that overtime winner. No. And I think at least one of those other goals was just a sloppy bunch of skating in front of him, and he was left out to dry.
Well, yeah, the tying goal, Bouchard was left completely wide open. Sanheim and York were on the same side of the ice. I think it may have been Brink that was out there as right wing, who probably shouldn't have been over by Bouchard. But yeah, you're not going to silence the big 3 for the whole game, and they got it eventually. The Flyers got a point out of it. But I need to complain about a few things, first of all, here.
Okay.
The ESPN broadcast.
Oh, okay.
Awful. Well, no, and then I'm going to get into some Flyers things, but like, it was like the Harlem Globetrotters against whatever they play, the Generals. Like, the Oilers were the Globetrotters. Like, they weren't talking about the Flyers at all. Michkov got some highlights here and there, but like, it was all like, oh, what are the Oilers going to do? How are the Oilers thinking about this? Like, give the Flyers some credit. I understand you want to showcase your stars, Connor McDavid, and you're worried about them if they start 0-4 after, being in the Cup final. But come on. And like, ESPN's just coverage in general is garbage. Like, you see the numbers. I forget who tweeted them out or whatever, but like, NHL is like below WNBA playoffs and all these other things, and like ESPN got hockey's rights just to kill the sport. It seems like they're doing a good thing. They got Frozen Frenzy next Tuesday. They have these like nightly, like some red zone type things every once in a while. That should be a reoccurring thing. Like every Saturday or every night, there's like at least 10 games. Like,
That's soon. They're doing one in like a week or two.
That's next Tuesday. Yeah, that's why the Flyers are starting at 6. They're kicking it off there.
Thank God.
Yeah,
not like last year.
Last year was 11, and then probably even later than 11.
It was like 11:25 puck drop.
Yeah,
on a Tuesday. Thanks, NHL.
Yeah. And then my other complaint, more relevant to the Flyers, is what are you doing in overtime? It is a puck possession game. First of all, in Vancouver controls the puck, whatever. The Flyers finally get the puck. Whoever's going off, 2 players going off the change, Konechny just goes in 1-on-3, takes a weak shot, gives Vancouver the puck back again. Like, they don't know how to play in overtime. And I know they don't practice it, and Torts has said that. But then again, Tuesday night in Edmonton, like, Konechny followed McDavid to the corner rather than staying in front, as did Michkov, kind of flew the zone as well. He gets a pass. But, like, Konechny has to be the guy there. Sanheim's on the semi-breakaway. You see Michkov, drop back a little bit to, kind of either stop the breakaway or stop the second chance from happening. But, they got a point, so you can't be too upset. I was shocked.
Do you think that was a penalty on Sanheim, or did he just fall down?
I was watching it right before we came on to record, and maybe a hook if it was during regular play, but they're not going to call that in overtime.
Especially not after they'd already had 7 power plays.
Yeah, that was the thing there.
I mean, hey, at least they didn't start Paling Hathaway Zamula or something to start OT. We're making progress. It was Coots for the faceoff with Konechny and Michkov, and then Coots lost the faceoff, skated off, and Sanheim skated on. And then
I think Sanheim started, and then I think it was Couturier and Konechny, and then Couturier went off for Michkov. Well, whatever it was.
Yeah, that might have been it too. Yeah. No. Michkov had to take a couple faceoffs last night too, which was really quite funny to me. I don't think he won any of them.
No, probably not.
But yeah, I don't know.
Complaining about overtime seems trivial, and it
especially against the Oilers. McDavid, Draisaitl, Bouchard is a cheat code, man. Like, what are you supposed to do to that? Like, oh, it's 3-on-3, and you have 3 of the best players at their position all at once up against you. Wonder how that one's gonna end.
Yeah.
We were robbed of a Sam Ersson shootout stealing.
Oh, he's so good in shootouts. He's so good in shootouts.
Yeah. Apparently, that they said on one of the might have been the Canucks broadcast, because it was a shootout. They were like, yeah, these European goalies come over and are absolutely lights out in shootouts because they practice that in the European leagues, but they don't really practice it here in the US, in the North American league. So it was him against Lankinen, and they're like, Lankinen has like an 82% win percentage or 82 save percentage in shootouts or something crazy like that. They're like, that's unbelievable. and Sam Ersson had like 78%, which was also a ridiculous save percentage.
Yeah. And then Konechny was skating up to try to tie it. And they're like, oh, Konechny for his career, like 2 for 18. I'm like, all right, I'm about to shut this off now. And he scored. I was shocked. And then, of course, Morgan Frost with the winner. I mean, Flyers have the potential to be a good shootout team. Sam Ersson's great in net. You got Michkov, you got Konechny,
Morgan Frost,
Forster, Frost.
Look, the big thing about Frost has always been complaints about his pace. You know where there is no pace? A shootout.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what speed you're going. You can do all the skill shit you want because nobody's pushing the pace except you.
Yeah. Why don't people, it's probably hard to copy, but copy the Kuznetsov move. Just slow down as slow as possible. And like, that's a complete cheat code for him. So,
or the Couturier move, where he just like skates up with his back to you, spins around, and just buries it.
Yeah, he went for the Forsberg on Friday night, which
worked for him.
It's a decent effort, but yeah,
good enough try. Yeah. I assume he saw something in Lankinen, and he's like, that back turn move won't work. Maybe it's the handedness. I don't know. Like maybe if the goalie catches with a different hand, Coots has a better shot at it. But
maybe, yeah,
who knows?
Yeah.
No. So all right, overtime. It's whatever. They are not good at it.
Yeah.
Nothing new there.
But the power play, they are good at. 4 for 15 to start the season. And last year, They were 4 for their first 53 to start the
Yeah.
season. They were 4 for 27.
Wait a minute.
And then 0 for 26.
Oh, I didn't know it was that bad, man.
To start the season, it was 4 for 53.
Oh,
Let me get what that was up until. Yeah, they didn't score their 5th power play goal until November 18th against the Golden Knights. They had 2.
they won that game too.
They did win that game in overtime. Yeah.
I after that game, when we saw how bad the power play was, I was just like, man, this team might actually do the playoffs if they can get this shit together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They didn't, and they missed the playoffs, so that kind of all tracks together. But
what do we think about this top power play unit? Do we think they're going to be able to keep up this success? Do we think teams are going to, shade Michkov more on that side of the ice? Like, who's on the other side there? It's Forced. No, it's
Tippett.
Tippett's over there, and then Drysdale at the point.
Yeah.
And their big issue is getting into the zone. Like, their zone entries are still not good.
You know who's good at that? It's Jett Luchanko.
It is. He is.
It is. He's really good at that.
Tippett's good at it too, but then Tippett just shoots the puck. Tippett never slows down there.
Well, yeah, no. Yeah. He'll create a nice juicy rebound.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's just a matter of being there to get it.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to keep this unit together for a while by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
Just to try. Because, I mean, last year it wasn't working and they just started throwing shit at the wall and seeing what would work out. None of it did. That's how we ended up with Zamula PP1 quarterback for a couple weeks. They even tried Mark Stahl at one point. It was...
Did they?
Maybe for like
Mark Stahl?
A game.
For a game or two? Yeah.
So, maybe it was Nick Sealer. I don't know. They tried someone. You're like, oh god.
Oh, it was probably Risto. Did they put Risto net front last year, or was it?
That was a couple years
just been
ago.
At the point. Okay.
That was a couple years ago. I remember net front Risto, baby. that was Mike Yo, I think, was the head coach when they were doing that.
Mike Yo, the Flyers.
He's with the Senators now, I think. I was watching the Sens Kings.
Somewhere, yeah.
The crazy Sens Kings game over the weekend that ended 8-7. Wow. And they panned to the Sens bench, and there's Mike Yo. I was like, oh, I know that guy.
Well, he's a hockey man. He's going to stay around a bench somewhere. He's one of those the 50 hockey men that just rotate throughout the league.
There can be only 50, never 51. If you want to be a hockey man, you must defeat the previous hockey man in a shootout. I don't know. Just spitting, just yapping. I'm just yapping. No.
That top unit is the Flyers' 5 best offensive players, though, I think. Konechny, Frost, Michkov, Tippett, and Drysdale. So there's a very good reason to keep them together. I like how they can kind of interchange Michkov and Frost and Michkov and Konechny and get the little triangle bumper play down there. So
look, I swear I saw Michkov contemplating a Michigan at one point last night. Like, I saw him down there behind the net and chopping at the puck, and I could see in his head he was like, ooh, do I do it?
Yeah.
He didn't, but I was like, oh, if he landed that would have been nice.
I was looking back at the highlight of his first goal. Like, I could see that being called back for interference at some point, because like he pushed the pad, and he didn't push the pad in, but he pushed the pad horizontally, like across the crease.
He pushed the puck that was attached to the pad, which apparently you are allowed to do. You can't just like shove the pad.
Yeah.
But like if you're pushing the puck, it's a quote unquote puck battle. And it just like any other thing, you're allowed to push. But hey, thankfully they gave it to him.
Yeah. And he scored his first goal in the rookie game in a similar fashion. The one in the rookie game kind of just went over the pad, but maybe that's going to be his office down there. And then you see the Oilers power play. Draisaitl trying to score from Michkov's office. Come on, what are you doing?
Hey, yeah, get out of here, man. No, and then the second one was just a beauty of a wrister, a snapshot.
It was a one-timer, was it not?
He didn't have like a full wind up to it. It was just kind of
it was nice.
Half wind.
Yeah. And so some of the passes he makes, he just puts the right amount of touch on them. Like I think it was on the power play. He put one right into the slot on Konechny's tape. Like, this kid's good. This kid is good. This kid is good. And I'm glad he finally scored 1 and 2 goals, because Otherwise, people are like, oh, he only has 1 assist on like a garbage goal through 3 games. What's going on? But no, 2 goals on the national stage. The greatest showman, as I think Kurt put together for that. So,
my God,
so
that
yeah.
image was so good. Yeah, I was joking that he was going to get the Hattie to make up for not scoring a goal in each of the first 2 games. Also, he blocked 2 shots. One of them looked real tough. That looked like a real stinger, I got to tell you. But he hobbled back to the bench, and everybody was like, "Yeah, man, way to go."
Yeah. He's got to work on that form a bit, blocking shots. But, you know, he's a hockey player. You got to get in front of the puck there. And he almost had a 3rd goal. He had that semi breakaway that he drew a holding penalty on, I think, in the 3rd period.
Should have given them the penalty shot. Come on, you cowards.
I think Farabee was arguing for it with the ref. But
yeah.
I don't know if I'd rather have a penalty shot or, I mean, the Flyers have a lethal power play now. Like put that power play out there. Kill 2 minutes.
Michkov on a penalty shot could be fun. I'm just
saying. He's 0 for 2 or 0 for 3 in shootouts now, though. Did he score 1?
No, he missed it. I thought he only had the 1 shootout.
I'm saying in the preseason too.
I don't count that.
Well, if he scored, we would count that.
Mm.
Preseason, you only count if it's good. If it's bad, it's just preseason.
Yeah. And not scoring in the shootout, bad.
Oh well.
I think
go ahead, continue.
I was gonna just say about that blocked shot, or both of them. When he scored that goal, you saw how excited the bench was for him to have scored that goal. I have to wonder if him like blocking shots too, as part of it, it's like, oh, he's not just here to rack up the point totals. Like, he's here to play. He is here to be a gamer. He's going to put the body on the line, and he's not just this precious kid who's trying to score a bunch of pretty goals. And I wonder if that goes a bit of a ways with the team to be like, yeah, this kid's the real deal and not just some entitled little prick.
It's not Cutter. He's not Cutter.
No,
he's not a quitter. No, so
he's not a quitter. He's a gamer.
Yeah, no, that definitely helps for the team just to see that and blocking shots and going out there and playing some defense, back checking and stuff. So yeah, that definitely good to see there. But we've praised Sam Ersson, and I think we also have to talk about the other goaltender that has played so far for the Flyers, Ivan Fedotov. Allowed
do we have
5 goals on how many shots did he face here?
Not a lot.
31 shots. A few fluky goals. I know one bounced in off like Johnny Huberdeau's elbow or whatever, but like a few of those goals he just did not move on. Like, what are you doing? Like, you have to at least make an effort.
You're big. Just take up the space.
Yeah, so it might take a bit for him to get acclimated to the North American game, but like at least look like you're trying out there.
Well, they've got Kolosov waiting in the wings if things get real bad. And then, hey man, they've got that Cal Peterson, that trump card, man.
Cal Peterson kid. You gotta see what he's up to.
Look, if this season goes totally off the rails and they're playing well, but the only option to get into a playoff spot is to ride Sam Ersson into the ground again, I don't think they do it. I think they'll just be like, you know what? Maybe we'll take that high draft pick by just playing the shitty goaltenders.
Well, I think they'd just play. Yeah, they play Fedotov and Kolosov. Kolosov has 1 start this season. Started the season opener for the Phantoms. Looks like got the win. 22 saves on 25 shots. 2 saves on 3 shootout attempts there. So, looking by the numbers, look great. I think I saw Maddie said in the Slack though that he also looked kind of shaky, which sure, that's fine.
Yeah.
And I think since we last recorded, Friedman said that like by the end of the month, he can choose to go back to the KHL, or like they're revisiting something with that.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. Like,
that's
what do we don't know anything about that. Like, this is all just hearsay and stuff, you know?
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
Also on the subject of goaltenders, two things on the subject of goaltenders. Number 1, goalie goal last night.
Goal, yes.
Shout out to Philip Gustafson of the Wild. You have him on your fantasy team too, don't you?
I do. I don't think that counts for anything.
It does not. No, I found that out last year. And then I'm trying to find it. Flyers goalie prospect Yegor Zavarin.
Zvragin, he got Ska called him back from Sochi.
He's got his second. I just pulled up the Alexander Appleyard tweet. I was looking for it.
Okay.
Yegor Zvragin gets his second win for Ska hockey in as many games. Stopped 28 out of 30 shots, so a .933 save percentage and a 3-2 overtime win. He's 5-3-0, .938 save percentage, 9 games into the season.
Bring him over. Bring him over.
No, definitely not.
What if he can be like the next Shesterkin, Sorokin, Vasilevsky, even like Samsonov hasn't been great, but like even one of those Russian goalies to come over, because I think give it a few more starts, maybe like next month or something, but it's not going to be too early to start comparing his first year KHL numbers to those guys.
I'm sure the Flyers are like, oh, this is the guy, like down the line. Also, a little bit of breaking news about one of the other Flyers prospects that just popped up on Twitter.
Okay.
Denver Barkey, named the 53rd captain in London Knights franchise history.
Good to see there. Very good to see for Denver Barkey.
Don't you just love that? There was that video of him a couple like earlier this week in the penalty box, just jawing at this opponent, which was absolutely. Kid's born to be a Flyer, man. Yeah, kid's gonna be great here.
I need to see him in Philly on a line with Travis Konechny, just barking at the other team.
Barking, huh?
Yeah, barking.
Yeah.
2 points in 3 games for Barkey so far. Both assists. So,
hey,
he had mono, or he had mono, right? Yeah. So
also, it's going to be tough to top that whatever 100 and something point season from last year.
Yeah.
So don't expect. I wouldn't expect that kind of production, but hey, that's a great sign to have a kid like Barkey being named captain.
Yeah, you got Bonk, 4 points in 3 games there, 1 goal, 3 assists. So good to see the Flyers prospects putting up points up there in line.
Bumper Bonk. I don't know if they're still playing him there, but
hopefully not. But you never know.
You never know. Anyway, we got kind of sidetracked from Fedotov there, but
it's one game. Like it's one game. It's a tired team in front of them. Like they were losing already. So
on the road,
yeah.
Whatever, man.
I imagine he won't start again until next week. There's a back-to-back home and home against the Capitals on Tuesday and Wednesday. So I think he'll probably get one of those.
Maybe the first one, just to see if he plays better behind a rested team.
Yeah, probably. Get him at home too.
Yeah.
Could be better. Last change, get better matchups. But after that, the Flyers don't have a back-to-back until Black Friday and Black Saturday. So
you'd love to see it.
So I mean, they can ride. No, they have a back-to-back that following Saturday and Sunday both. But after that, not for a month. So Sam Ersson, just ride him until he wears down.
Sure, why not? Well, no, we saw how that happened last year. Let's not do that again.
Yeah, not completely wear down. Just ride him a little bit.
Yeah. Cool. All right.
Any players we haven't touched on that have either stood out to you positively, negatively? I want to talk about Bobby Brink, because I feel like Bobby Brink has to be one of the most infuriating players for John Tortorella. He's out of position defensively. He's turning over the puck. He's flying the zone too early. Doesn't even sets up goals, scores a goal for defenseman. Like, he has 3 points in 3 games. You're like, oh, he's playing great. But like, if you look deeper at it, it's like, no.
It's real bad. He looks bad. Like, by the eye test, he looks bad.
I think he took a penalty last night, high sticking penalty or something. I was like, well, the Flyers are going to send him down. But no, they can't send him down because they have to clear through waivers, and he would not clear waivers. So he might end up as the odd man out coming up. Hopefully not the home opener. I'd love to see him in the home opener, but maybe they bench him for Thursday to get Noah Cates back in there. But yeah, he's been good or bad depending how you look at it.
But you could say that about like practically everyone on the team right now. Like
Farabee too, yeah.
Farabee looks pretty bad, but like we said, there's been like no 5-on-5 play because there's been so much special teams. Everyone looks like just a step out of sync. Passes are like, they're not connecting well. There's miscues. they look uncertain. Like I remember last night, Travis Konechny was just kind of like dancing back and forth on each skate in the middle of the ice, unsure of what to do. Was he going into the zone? Was he going back? Was he going for a change? And I was like, TK, come on, you've been here for so long. You should know what to do by this point. So I don't know if it's just like early season jitters, new systems that they're trying to like adapt to, just growing pains from younger players. Like
They probably also haven't practiced much. Did they practice Monday maybe? Because they had a back-to-back. Probably did not practice Sunday.
They did practice, right?
Maybe
that was where Farabee was out for maintenance day, right?
Okay, yeah, that was the Monday. And then probably not going to practice again until after the home opener. They have 2 days off, so maybe see how things go in that next stretch of games. But yeah, not a lot of 5-on-5 play. I've already seen way too much of Erik Johnson, especially in the defensive zone against Connor McDavid and other teams' top stars. Like and I noticed last night Jamie Drysdale played like 9 minutes of 5-on-5, which is the least amount of any Flyers player. I know he played a bunch on the power play, but
how much 5-on-5 was there? Like Sean Couturier only got 9 minutes total last night. Like he was in the box for 5 minutes, and he's not on either special teams unit. Like
there was 40 minutes of 5-on-5 last night. That's it.
Really?
Yeah.
Feels like a lot less.
Or a natural stat trick. Yeah. 39-49.
Huh. Feels like a lot less than that. But still, I guess
Jamie Drysdale played 7 minutes of that at 5-on-5. Like
that's a whole period of special teams.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I just want Nick Seeler to come back because Erik Johnson and Jamie Drysdale is not it. And
we got to get Andre in. Give me Emil Andre for a game.
Yeah. But who do you pair him with? Because you want to keep Zamula and Risto together. You don't want him and Drysdale. I mean, I don't know.
Scratch Zamula.
You can't scratch Michkov's translator.
Fedotov's on the bench as the backup. It's fine.
I don't know. Hopefully Nick Seeler can come back. He's been. I think he skated at morning skate, not with the team on Tuesday. So, I'm sure all the flights aren't helping him with his numb leg. But maybe I'm sure he'll get up to get back in by the home opener at the very least.
He's getting better. I think everything on Twitter from the beats has been like he's skating.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to do separate work from the rest of the group, but he's skating. It looks like he's doing extra work afterwards to get himself back. So like he seems close.
Yeah.
It's not like Ryan Ellis who just vanished. Like he's there. He's close.
Yeah. I'll be back soon.
But yeah, no, I'm not going to fault anyone. We talked about it before we went live. I think that like we're going to wait for 5 or even 10 games before we really look at the 5-on-5 numbers because it's just not fair to them to do it after 3 games, especially when they've been on 15 power plays alone themselves, not to mention their penalty kills. They do have a shorty already, right?
Yeah, TK got a shorty.
Sure did. Hey, he's going.
Oh, him and Lawton are still just absolute killers on the PK.
Chef's kiss, man. Yeah. So good. And I know Torts talked about trying to get Tippett and
Tippett was out there for a bit. I think Forster was out there for a few shifts. That was good. Good to see.
I've been begging for Forster on the PK. I keep harping on it. Last season, he got like 1 PK shift. He got 1 shot on goal and it went in the net. Like he's a perfect choice.
Forster's played 4 minutes on the PK. Tippett's played 2
this season. Right?
This season, yeah.
Oh, damn, there goes that shooting percentage.
Yeah, but I'd love to see Tippett there more in the PK. Get that speed there. Get the puck out of the zone because I know Paling and Hathaway are doing fine. They haven't allowed a goal against yet, but a lot of chances against and a lot of expected goals against. So it's only a matter of time before they're just hemmed into their own zone for too long, and that's not what you want to see.
Also, this is a little bit of an aside. Did you notice that the Oilers were going after Owen Tippett real bad last night? Like he took a stick to the face in like a post whistle scrum. He was getting like beat up by Darnell Nurse that one time, and then like some other player was like whacking at him. Like, what did Owen Tippett do to the Edmonton Oilers to piss them off so much? I don't get it.
I don't know.
You were faster than our captain. That's not fair. Nobody can be faster than McDavid.
Darnell Nurse was choking Owen Tippett there, but I think he learned that from his uncle's performance in the Super Bowl, choking back in the 2000s. He's Donovan McNabb's nephew.
Yeah.
For the
I forgot
uninitiated
about
there.
that.
But that reminds me, like, I feel like teams are going to know that they can shove Michkov after the whistle, and the Flyers defensemen will go in, and then the Flyers lose the offensive zone faceoff. So they have to stop doing that. It happened once on the power play. It happened at least once at 5-on-5 where, Risto and Zamula went up there or whatever. So that's something where, teams are going to see that and be like, all right, let's take a little cheap shot at Michkov.
Yep.
Get the, field position for ice position, for lack of a better term, like to get the puck out of our own zone.
Yeah.
All right, before we get into our predictions for the next few games before we record, just want to do a quick Calder watch here for Matvei Michkov. He has 3 points in 3 games. That is the 4th most among rookies. Logan Stankoven has 5 points, all assists in 4 games. Seamus Casey, coming out of nowhere for the Devils, has 4 points, including 3 goals in 6 games. Then Lane Hudson, 4 points, for all assists in 4 games. So Michkov is still the betting favorite for the Calder Trophy right now.
This is Dustin Wolf erasure.
Well, Dustin Wolf, I'm just looking at skaters. Dustin Wolf, goalies don't win the Calder, unfortunately, for Flames fans, but he's been great as well. Just a little Calder update there on Matvei Michkov. Still looking good, 3 games into the year. We'll probably record next Sunday or Monday. So we have this Thursday game against the Kraken, and then the home opener on Saturday against the Canucks. Joe, how do you think the Flyers are going to do in these 2?
Kraken absolutely pantsed the Predators yesterday. I think it was 7-2. Let me double check that.
7-3.
7-3. Yeah. How'd that happen? What's their record right now? Is it 2-1
or 2-2?
2-2. 2-2. Philadelphia Phillies' favorite count to swing away on. I think they can beat the Kraken. I think they can get that one done. But it's the last game of a long road trip, so maybe they'll just be gassed.
Yeah.
I think it goes to overtime. Flyers 4-3.
3rd overtime game in 4 games for the Flyers after dark trip. Everyone's going to be loving your prediction.
Dude, no, listen. I tweeted out at the beginning of last night's game, I'm praying to the hockey gods, please, don't let this game go to overtime. And then in parentheses, this is going to overtime.
Yeah.
2 hours later, I retweeted it saying, there are no hockey gods. And Charlie O'Connor tweets me back and says, no, they just hate you. And man, what did we ever do to piss off the hockey gods? What did us Flyers fans do? What did we do, man? It's of course it's going to go to overtime. It might even go to a shootout just to really stick the knife in.
Yeah.
But that's my miserable prediction. What about you? What do you think is going to go on with the Kraken?
I think they're going to beat the Kraken. The Kraken, coming back home after a road trip. They played yesterday, Tuesday in Nashville. So get home, get with their families, relax a little bit. Flyers still in game mode. Flyers, be focused here coming in. I think we got a comfortable Flyers win, maybe like a 4-2 type win here in Seattle. Sam Ersson shows up. The Kraken I know they scored 7 against Nashville, but who do they have offensively?
Is that 4th goal an empty netter?
Strand. It might be. I don't think so. 5-2 with an empty netter, maybe.
5-2. Ooh, okay. All right, I'm into it.
And then for Saturday home opener, I'm saying Flyers in overtime 4-3. Canucks are 0-3.
I know.
They play in Florida on Thursday and then come up to Philly on Saturday.
Yeah, I think the Flyers win that one too. I think that's going to be a chippy game. The Canucks are going to be pissed that they got pants. Last week. So I think it's going to be tighter than that. Flyers 3-2 overtime.
All right, both got overtime here though, but it's going to be chippy. It's going to be a lot of power plays. So Flyers have a lethal power play now. So you never know.
It could go the other way. You never really know.
No, yeah, that's right.
But no, yeah, I don't know. The energy in that building is going to be so lit.
It is.
For
It is.
for Michkov and maybe Luchanko if he's still
I
around.
think they have to give Luchanko the home opener, right?
Well, what if they use that as the carrot? Like you're going back before the home opener. That'd be cruel, wouldn't it? That'd be mean.
That would be cruel.
That'd
Like
be mean.
you're staying up. Your junior teammates are going to resent you for staying up and missing out the first however many games, and you're not getting the home opener in front of the home fans. No,
Yep. No, they'll give it. I think they'll give it
because they said they're going to reevaluate after 5 games, and that'll be the team's 5th game, his 4th game most likely, but that'll give them that day and then 2 days off before the back-to-back. So
I think the real question for that home opener, does Nick Delorier crack the lineup? Because if this is going to be a chippy game, you might need him, especially if Nick Seeler's still out.
I don't think so. Put him back on defense and bench Erik Johnson and put him and Jamie Drysdale together.
I mean,
the Canucks don't. Looking at the Canucks lineup now, like they don't have any real bruisers or goons. Like, does Derek Forbort, does he fight? Like, besides that, they don't really have anyone that I look at and be like, oh yeah, I've got to be scared of him. Like Connor Garland, I know Konechny calls him a little elf sometimes, so maybe they'll go at it, but I don't know. I don't think there'll be too many fights in that game.
They could also just do with Erik Johnson what they did with Justin Braun and play him at forward for a little while. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Mark Friedman was at forward. It was
why?
Well, they were forced to do that because the NHL hated them back during the COVID season. But
it was the COVID season. That's right. Oh,
the Lake Tahoe game, I think even it was
the Tahoe game. Oh boy, that was the end of it, wasn't it? I don't know how everybody was like, oh, we could make this work. But anyway, yeah, Erik Johnson at forward, Nick Delorier on defense. You heard it here first, folks.
All right, there we are over an hour. Anything else here before we close it out?
No, just excited that the season has started and that we get to watch the Flyers, and Michkov is living up to the hype to a pretty significant degree so far, and I'm excited to see what he can do here at the Farg.
Absolutely,
however long it's
still the Farg. It will always be the Farg, Joe. It's always the Farg.
I still call it the Wachovia Spectrum or Center or whatever it used to be.
Well, yeah, it was like Wachovia Center. What was it before that? Well, it was the FU Center first, the First Union Center.
First Union.
It was Wachovia for a while, but it's always the Farg. Yeah, excited to see Michkov there at the Farg on Saturday.
Yeah, how about you, Gibbs? Anything you want to close with? Any final thoughts?
No, just happy to have hockey back here. It has sucked, having some 10 o'clock games, especially during the week last night and on Thursday. But
one more.
Looking ahead to the Flyers schedule should just be a bunch of 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock, a few weekday afternoon games. So it'll be good to get them back to some 7 p.m. Flyers hockey.
6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, rock. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Make sure you are subscribed to the Broad Street Hockey Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. Leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple. Subscribe to the website as well, broadstreethockey.com. Just 16 cents a day for all the articles up there. And if you're in the $10 tier, I believe you can join the Broad Street Hockey Discord. I'm trying to get that going. I know Joe was in there for the season opener. I was trying to chime in here and there, but
oh, it's tough, man. On these late night starts, it's real tough to have the energy to just be like,
we'll get something going. I know we wanted to do a watch along for the season opener. I don't think they did that, so we'll get something going for you guys.
Also, there was a tweet that was sent my way. If anyone knows of bars that broadcast Flyers games with audio in the city of Philadelphia, tweet me, because every time I go to a bar, it's just playing silently in the background because they're playing their music, or there's a more important Philadelphia sports team playing and they don't really care about the Flyers. So yeah, if you have a bar or a brewery or something like that and they play a Flyers game with audio that's not Xfinity Live, because I know they do, tweet us.
I just did a Google search, Flyers bars Philadelphia. Apparently there's a on the Flyers website. Orange and Black on Tap.
Oh.
Flyers and Yingling have partnered to launch the brand new Orange and Black on Tap bar network. So I got some specials here. Let me zoom in and see what you got in Center City. Got a few bars here. Center City.
Oh, sweet.
What's this?
Probably like Barstool.
Oscars Tavern.
Oh, all right, Oscars.
On Sansom, and Bonner's Irish Pub as well there in
Never heard of it.
in Center City. That's at South 23rd and Walnut. Looks down there, but
sponsor us.
But yeah, if you know a bar and you're watching a game or something, have Joe come join you. Maybe we'll come join you. Whatever. You know, tweet at us, tweet at Joe. Where can people?
It makes the watch parties easier.
Yeah. Where can people tweet at you, Joe?
You can tweet at me right here on this little banner. It says at JF DeMarini on Twitter. Gilbs, how about you? Where can they find you?
You can follow me on Twitter at rgilbertsop. And of course, make sure you follow Broad Street Hockey at BroadST and shout out Bet Online for sponsoring us. Until next time, thanks for listening.
Go Flyers!